Hi, this is Shaun. I am back in London now, and I just wanted to say a big thank you again to the education community and the young people, and indeed the parents of the Isle of Man who've made me feel so welcome this week. I wanted to talk to parents, actually, particularly, not just from the Isle of Man, but generally, because I know there's lots of parents that support and follow this page, and thank you for that. Just wanted to make a note about books, really, because obviously part of the work that I do, as you know, is going in and speaking in classrooms and school assemblies about the diversity of human life and relationships. And as part of that, I will tell people that I'm married to another man, and that's called being gay. And that's just part of the diversity of human life. What can happen as a result of that, and what really we want to happen, is that it opens up conversations. It opens up conversations in school, it opens up conversations in classrooms and in the playground, and that's okay, because it's okay to talk about different types of people and different types of relationships. That's really what we're trying to achieve, so that young people know that whoever they are, they're welcome, they're validated, they're included, and they're celebrated. But what can happen as a result of that is that young people then go home and they want to talk about it at home, because they talk about everything else when they get home. So why shouldn't they want to talk about it and sometimes ask questions? And children will come home and ask questions about maths. They'll come home and ask questions about history. Children come home and talk about what they've learnt about in school, and that's okay. But with the teaching and learning around LGBT identities and diverse identities, sometimes, in fact quite often, parents themselves didn't learn about that at school. So they don't have the confidence or indeed the vocabulary to talk about it openly. So really I'm here today to say to you, why not get some books? And there are lots of books that you can use at home or in primary school. Books like Tango Makes Three, which is a lovely book around two male penguins that raise an egg. It's a true story in a zoo. Lovely book. This is a really lovely book. My Two Dads Are Amazing. It's actually written by a friend of mine. It's a lovely book. This is a book that I used this week in an assembly on the Isle of Man. It's called It's Okay to Be Different, which of course it is, because we're all different. Really lovely book. Heather Has Two Mummies. Says what it does on the tin, really. Heather has two mummies. And I have met lots of young people recently who've got two mums or two dads. Sometimes people don't know how to talk about that, who haven't got two mums or two dads. And these kind of books are a really great way to open those discussions. This is a lovely one, The Great Big Book of Families. And it looks at lots of different types of families. And you can have lots of conversations about how everybody's family is different and diverse, but everybody's family is unique and special to them. This is another nice book, Donovan's Big Day. And this is a really lovely book just about what it feels like to be different or be made to feel like you're other because you're different, and how that makes you feel something else. This is a book about being transgender, what it's like to be transgender in it. Again, it's a true story. It's written by somebody that is transgender, that knew from a very early age that they were trans. They are trans. King and King, lovely book about two kings. And this is a nice book as well. Are you a boy or are you a girl? And this is really about just exploring gender stereotypes. What makes us male, what makes us female, what makes us boy or a girl. And it sounds a bit kind of scary, doesn't it? But it's not at all. It's a lovely book. And it really kind of explores some of those stereotypes that we put ourselves in terms of, well, what makes me a boy, what makes me a girl. So there's lots of really great discussion that you can have out of these books. I got all of mine from Letterbox Library. If you just Google Letterbox Library, you can see that they're a really lovely diversity-themed bookseller. And I've got an Inclusion for All book pack there, and many of these books are actually in that pack that you can order. The other books, I've just got them off Amazon. And as you may have seen, I popped into the local bookstore on the Isle of Man, and I'm trying to encourage them to stock some of these books. But wherever you live, if you live near a bookstore, why not just pop in and ask, do you stock books? that represent a diverse range of families and identities, because the world is diverse and we need to have books that reflect that so that our young people feel welcome, included, validated and celebrated. And for those children that don't have same-sex parents or aren't LGBT+, these books are a great way for them to open up those discussions at home and in school. And the final thing I'll say is that I'm quite often asked, people will quite often say to me, you know, in our family, actually, we've got an uncle or an auntie who's actually gay or lesbian, and we never knew how to open that conversation up with young people. And then they find these books, and that's their way in. And suddenly they realise that it's very, very simple, and all they're really talking about is just human beings, love, kindness, and relationships. So please explore the books, enjoy them, have fun with them, talk about them. Let's get the discussions going and keep them going. Thanks for your time and have a lovely weekend. Get reading.